Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about me transferring to sleeping on the floor. And some of you might think it's, a dramatic change, a change that isn't the most comfortable of changes. But I'm here to tell you the pros and the cons of switching to sleeping on the floor. So stay tuned if you want to learn about it. Hannah and I have compiled, just a little notebook of research that, provides you with the pros and the cons of sleeping on the floor. So some of these main benefits here that I'm going to outline today, they're actually crazy benefits for people that have neck and back pains. So if you are one of those people that has back or neck pain, which is probably a lot of people, then I think you're going to want to stick around and, really dive in depth of the pros and the cons of sleeping on the floor. Alright, so the first benefit that is outlined here is it helps the spine stay in a neutral position. And the way it does that is it applies an even application of pressure throughout your body and your spine. So that really, instead of, sitting on a cushiony bed where, your cushion here, cushion there, maybe sinking in a little bit more, it is a more even application of pressure for your spine, which in return actually helps you, have a straighter spine. And it also says that it helps with scoliosis as well. So the second one here is it minimizes the cushioning that may impede your natural sleep movements. And what that's saying is, there's a lot of cushioning, like I was stating before, with a really cushiony bed. You're sinking in different places, your joints are moving in, different places. It's not just a flat surface. So when you transfer to sleeping on the floor, basically all that does is, you can sleep naturally and sleep, how we used to, because primally, or back in the day, we would make ourselves, little nests or whatever we would make, but we didn't have these really cushiony beds that would really sink in at every, point of your body. And it is very comfortable to do so, but after a long time, you might notice some, out of place joints, some joint pain, and a lot of those things that, could be avoided with just sleeping on the floor. So the third one kind of goes hand in hand. So it provides a more restful sleep, and at the same time, it also promotes tissue repair and also, what your body's supposed to do when it's sleeping. And what it's supposed to do when it's sleeping is just repairing, getting you ready for the next day, and it really helps with doing so. You can just get a full night's rest, repair, recover, and then you're ready for the next day. Fourth one, this, all ties in. It gives you a little bit better posture, because once your joints are aligned how they're really supposed to be, and, and you're going upon life, just, walking how you're supposed to be, sleeping how you're supposed to be, it's a really crazy, almost like a butterfly effect that you'll see. It really keeps going and going, and you'll really notice after a sustained amount of time of sleeping on the floor that your joint pain or back pain, maybe even neck pain, will actually, either get better or, go away completely, which is, a big plus. So I have looked on the flip side, because there are some negatives that, people have stated, and, there's different sources saying different things, but I've compiled the best negatives as well for sleeping on the floor. The first one is joint pain at first. You may experience some joint pain at the beginning stages of sleeping on the floor. The only reason is because your body is now, going in the right position. It's moving back to how it's supposed to be. It's really just, like I stated before, realigning all of your joints, your spine, your neck, and getting them in the right position that we were naturally supposed to be in. So you can see some joint pain in the first, maybe I saw, first 1 to 3 weeks or so. And that being said, it should start to go away over time and eventually start getting better. There are a few cases where you might not want to sleep on the floor. If you're overweight, if you're elderly, if you have any joint problems, you might not want to, sleep on the floor like that, just because it might be uncomfortable. It might be a big dramatic change, and it might be a change that hopefully it would be beneficial, but being overweight and elderly, you don't want to, risk anything. So speak to your doctor and see if that is the right change for you. The second negative thing, or con as you'd like to call it, is it might be a little bit cold, and these are just, nitpicking these cons out of here. It might be cold. And that being said, sleeping on the floor, it might be a little bit cold, but if you get a blanket, if you put a blanket down under, you should be completely fine. The less cushioning, really the better. I even say a nice thin yoga mat can do the trick, and even though that still has some cushioning, it'll be a lot better than going straight from the, cushiony bed that you're used to sleeping on the floor. Another con that I wrote is it may be hard to get up from, a neutral sleeping position. And if anyone, has any injury, stuff like that, maybe they can't get up from a resting position, that may play a factor because, you want to be the safest possible. And that's why I said, talk to, your doctor if you're unsure, whatever that is. But if you can't get up from a resting position, it's really going to affect, you want to be able to get up after waking up. So however you need to do that, do so and figure out a good way to, execute it. All right, so going on to the last three or so, they're little, cons in my eyes, so I'll just read them out to you. The first one is intimacy. And with this, if your partner doesn't want to sleep on the floor, you're kind of out of luck there. But you guys have a couch, you guys have, the kitchen table, you guys have options. So if intimacy is the real problem here, you can find ways around it. The second one is critters. Everyone hates critters. Everyone hates, bugs, whatever that is. If you're sleeping on the floor, I don't know if you're going to see more of that, but that's one of the big ones that came up. You might, be a little grossed out if you don't keep it clean. But as long as you have a nice, clean house with not a lot of critters, you should be okay. All right, and then the last one, side sleepers should be careful. I'm kind of on a conflict between two sources of information here. One of them stating that, sleeping on your side on the floor can actually help you and benefit you in many ways. But, contradictory to that statement, I have actually done some research that said sleeping on your side on the floor may actually make it a little bit worse for you. So, that being said, you may have to look up good positions to sleep in. I know laying straight on your back and getting your shoulders in a neutral position is one of the best ways to sleep and one of the most natural ways to sleep. But if that's not comfortable for you, you might have to, look outside the box and see what's right for you. So that is all today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed, but that's why I decided to make the switch to the floor. I have a yoga mat on the floor. I have been doing it for, around 3 weeks now, and it's been awesome. I will personally say the first couple days, maybe a week or so, I felt a little sore, but it did feel good. It felt like a big relief, but I would wake up and feel a little bit sore, a little bit, I don't know, not really achy, but just a little different than usual. Then after the week or so, I really started to see an improvement in my shoulders and everything. I do suffer from joint instability, so after that, I am saying myself that it is, very beneficial. Personally, it was a good change, it was a positive change, and it has brought me a little bit less joint pain. And that's why I want to share it with you guys today. It was really, a life changer, a game changer. But this is only one thing that you guys can do to, in the overall scheme of things, live a healthier and happier life. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. That's all for today.